Hey everyone, hi and welcome back to Adobe Live. My name is Anika, as you can see right over here. Hi, welcome on in. Thank you for being here. Today is Wednesday where I am. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you are tuning in from somewhere in the North America, let me know how the weather is. It is a severe thunderstorm watch here, so I hope everything goes smoothly. If you are joining me both on Behance and YouTube, or just on Behance and just on YouTube, say hello in the chat. I have my eye on both the chats right over here in two corners, so thanks for being here. Did not know why I clapped, but hello. We do what we want here. No, that's not true. All right. Thanks for being here. If you don't know what this show is all about, it is called Branding Basics, where I empower you and help you create your own branding. So, if you're a small business owner or a creative professional, if you are thinking of a brilliant idea and you don't know how to brand it, for right now, you don't have any resources to hire a graphic designer to do it for you. So, maybe you can make something for yourself using Adobe Express and the Adobe Creative Cloud suite. Thanks for being here. If you have any questions, today we're going to make some packaging, which is super, super exciting. So, as we go through today's agenda, I want to say hi to everyone in chat because I'm super excited that you all are here. So, let me say hi to Jack in the chat, Wade, who will be modding for us. Thanks, Wade, for being here. We have Oliver, who says that he loves the intro. Thank you. I appreciate that. Penny and Wade, I already said Wade, Jack, Anemoon. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. If you are on YouTube, I know Chris Georgina is in the chat. Hello, Chris. Shout out to Chris. Thank you for being here. Let's go through what the plan for today is. So the plan for today is essentially creating packaging design for the brand. If you were here in the first two episodes, we're working on the Snax packaging, which is super exciting because I love snacks and we love food here. Love the food chat always. So we're creating some fun packaging design, and I have a free template for you. So if you go to the stream description down below, you will be able to download the dieline template. And you ask what a dieline is. Well, we're going to talk all about it in just a second here. Gareth also joining us in the chat. Thanks for being here. Love it. Okay, so we'll create the packaging, but before that, I want to show you what I came up with the logo and the logo lockups. I will start by exporting them from Adobe Illustrator and setting up a brand in Adobe Express. The idea is to have that brand ready to go in Adobe Express. So if you are working with more than one people, maybe your friend is doing it. My best friend also loves snacks, right? So him and I are thinking of a snacks packaging. And if he wants to create something with the brand logos, I will have that ready to go within Adobe Express, and I can just share that link with him in a few seconds. So let's dive into it. Let's start by Adobe Illustrator, then into Adobe Express, and then back to Illustrator because that's how we roll over here. All right, let's get into it. Let's see what we have. So, ta-da! We did not Martha Stewart it this time. I actually worked on this for the last couple of weeks that I was not live. And yeah, this took a lot. This took a lot of time, honestly, because I was just thinking about what colors I wanted to use. I wanted it to be fun and accessible and still kind of relate to like packaging for food brands. I don't know if this really serves the purpose, and we're still iterating on it, and this is just the first iteration. So maybe I change my mind and change all the colors. But for right now, these are the colors that I have come up with. Love that. So I want to say that these are the logo lockups I came up with, and this is like the brand primary colors. We have some colors right here, and if you notice carefully, I am in the CMYK version of the file just because I want to use the same colors for packaging design as well. Love it. Umukon in the chat says snacks, but don't have any snacks to nibble on at the moment. Well, go get yourself a snack. We love snacks over here. Didn't I tell you that? Didn't you get the memo? Okay, so we have these colors and I have all of these logo lockups in here, right? What I want to do, essentially, I want to talk about how and why I created these logo lockups. And I started off with this logo and everything is outlined here. And if you don't know what that is, I'm just going to grab a text box here, and I'm going to size that up real quick. So I am going to size that up so you can see what I mean. And I'm going to change the color of that as well. So this is a text box and this is editable, but essentially when you create a logo or you're sending something off for print, a pro tip to remember here is that you need to outline your text because you don't know the printer and you don't know if they have the same font as you do, especially if you're using a custom font that is not part of the Adobe suite or something that you created yourself. And you need to outline that just to be sure that they do not default to the system fonts. So the way to do that is going to type and going to create outlines. Now you see that these are all vector shapes and I can just go into this group and move it around wherever I want. The idea is to have those shapes the same as you saw on your machine and the printer sees on their machine, right? So everything you see in here is outlined, I hope. If it's not, we can do that. But for now, since we are just going to do an asset export using Adobe Illustrator, I'm going to show you how that works. So we have this, which is like a stacked version of the logo. I just went ahead and used my color palette over here to create these background colors. And then I created these combinations, which will serve as how I can use my font and the logo. I mean, not the font, the logo. So logo usage is important in terms of where you want to use them, how small or big they are, if it'll be legible when you scale them down, and what's the purpose of using that font or logo style, right? So this tagged version can be used like, let's say, on a sticker design. So I'm just showing you before we export some of the usages that you can use the logo in. So I'm going to press the direct selection, which is A on the keyboard, and I'm going to bring this in. Now this is an ellipse, which is constrained on both the length and the breadth. And we have the logo here, and maybe I want this to be this version, and we have something like so. So this can actually be used as a sticker on your packaging design, and you can paste that just to give an look and feel for your brand, which is consistent all throughout in the visual identity. And you can also again make variations. So this is an example of how you can create like a stacked version and then use that to create stickers. It doesn't need to be an extended version of, like, you don't need to come up with puns, but it'll be better if you do. For right now, we're just creating these stickers as an example. All right, so let's go to window and go to asset export here. And if you've never used this, this is super useful. This flyout menu is, I love this. So it says drag artwork to this panel to generate multiple assets. Instead of using artboards, if you forgot to create artboards and you're like me and you just create everything everywhere, it is really, really handy and comes in very useful. So what I'll do is I'll start by adding these assets in here by clicking and dragging. And as you see here, it's going to drag the artwork right into this panel, right? So I'm going to do that for all the colors we have here. So we have these three. I think we have one more. So that's that. And just looking at chat to see if we have anything else. Okay. Yeah, the chat is good. Meanwhile, if you have time, make sure to download the dieline template, which is in the stream description. And I'm sure Wade can drop that in as well. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Let's see here. I'm going to put this on the side and group that. And then I'm going to bring that back in. Wait, was this the right? No, I don't think it was. I kind of messed it up here. Oh, wait. Okay, yeah. Okay, this is good. So all I'm trying to do is I'm going to group all the elements just because I don't want a single element. If this was not grouped, for example, I'm going to go ahead and press Shift Command G, which is ungrouping it. If I go ahead and select everything and add it here, look and wait what happens. Look in this panel really carefully and it has this, and these are all the assets that we have. And I don't want that. I want this to be one single logo lockup. So I'm going to hit Command Z on my keyboard, and now I'm going to add the grouped element in here. So I'm going to do that for all of these and just see that I'm not going to think about if they are the same right now because we are short on time. Okay, looks like these are also ungrouped. So I'm going to bring that here and we have these versions, right? Now it is also important that we add just these as well. So I'm going to add that here. Did it add it? Oh, we're in isolation mode. Okay, here we go. I'm going to bring that in, and I think we need it for the other colors as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a couple of copies and then I'm going to add this right over here. Okay, and also I forgot to ask you guys, but have you ever created packaging design? And if you have, what kind of packaging design did you create? And was it fun for you? Did you create a hero print and a test print and something was wrong? I would love to know about it in chat. Did you print some text upside down? Because packaging is fun. Packaging is super fun. I love to like experiment and see what I can come up with. Um, just to see what I can come up with. You know what I mean? If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Okay. So I am adding some more colors. And now that I have all the required assets, say these are all the assets I need, I'm going to see if I can do like a larger view. I cannot. I'm going to zoom in. So I have all these assets right here, right? What I'm going to do is essentially use these in here and choose a selection where I want to save that. It's similar to how you export artboards, right? So I'm gonna go to File, Export for Screens, and it's gonna show you how you can export artboards. But there's another panel called Assets panel. It's similar to what we're doing here, but that's just within the panel and you can go back and forth. So it's easier for me and I prefer that. So I'm gonna call cancel. I see Josie in the chat. Hey Josie, welcome. And Anamon says same. I'm not sure what you are referring to. Chris in the chat says I actually have. It was a music related product. That's super interesting. Client provided a template which helped remove any doubt or guesswork. That is such a great point you bring up, Chris. I love that. Thank you for saying that. So ideally, I would go to my printer and ask for a template because a die line is essentially a standard. And if you don't have a lot of resources in the beginning, it is recommended to use a standard box layout, which we're dealing with today, which is going to cut your cost if you were to go for perhaps a customized template. So Chris on our YouTube chat brings up a great point that their client provided a template for them to use, which took out all the guesswork, and which is amazing because you don't want to ever be unsure about what the template is. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm actually talking about this right here. This is the template that I have provided in the stream description, and it is a very basic template, and I have set it to an A4 size for you to do a standard print. But when you actually do it in a real life scenario, you can go to a printer that does box printing. They can give you a template and you can just resize your items and your artwork to the template that they provide to you. Just a hot tip right there. Okay, thanks Chris for sharing. I love that. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and export all of these assets. We're about 12 minutes in and I don't wanna waste any more time doing this. So these are all the assets we have. What I'm gonna do is select the file type that we have. So these are all the file types that you can export from the asset export panel in Adobe Illustrator. And I am just gonna select PNG, which is default. The scale is 1x, I'm fine with that. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to this button, which is essentially going to show me this panel. Or I can go ahead and I'm going to select all of these. So I'm going to hit select and click on export. Now this is going to click on the export button and you can come over here and select the file explorer window, like where you want to download it. And I'm going to go ahead to Snax logo lockups and click choose. As soon as I hit export, it's going to export all of these items for me. Okay. And it has it already did. So these are all the items that are exported because all of them were selected. If you wanted to make unique selections and not select everything, you can go in here, hit control or command on your keyboard. And if you can see clearly, all of these with the blue border on the outside are the only ones that will be selected and exported. Love that. Josie in the Behance chat says they created a packaging design a couple of years ago as part of their school project. That's fun. And in your current job, you have to review several packaging designs to ensure they are legally compliant. That's a great call there. So if you are working in the food and beverage industry, there are various FDA standards and other standards depending on the country you're in. And you have to think about the compliance. So if you're creating beer packaging or food packaging, for instance, you need to have a certain level of nutrient information or certain amount of detail and follow point size as well. So thinking about that is super important. This though, the one that we're creating though does not have any of that because it's an outer packaging and covering. Maybe we cover that in one of the future episodes. That's a great call out. The YouTube chat is going off the charts. So I'm going to take a quick peek at it and see if I missed any questions. Wow, that is amazing. So Chris, sharing experiences over on the YouTube chat. If you are joining us on YouTube, make sure to hop over there and hit the subscribe button because we have such invigorating conversations here on Adobe Live that I always love to hear stories. Chris is talking about how they saved their client a ton of money just because they recognized a mistake at the 11th hour, and I love to hear it. I love to hear it. I love that. Okay, so I am gonna go back to my folder and see what it exported, right? So I'm right here. This is where I exported all the logos. Now, of course, they're not named because I did not name them in the export panel, but I'm gonna hit spacebar on my keyboard just to show you what it looks like. And these were the ones that were exported. Now you're thinking this doesn't have a background, and this is not what it looks like. That's because color theory of relativity and color looks differently with background and like different colors around it. Now this is without a background, and that's why it's looking like not the same color, but it is the same color. Trust me, I exported it. It's the same thing, right? Okay. First part done. Let's go to Adobe Express now and create a brand for your client or yourself or your friend that you're working along with. This is Adobe Express. Well, hello, Adobe Express. If you have never heard of Adobe Express, I don't know what you're doing. Well, Adobe Express is great for a creator, for a business, for a graphic designer because you can use it with your other Creative Cloud applications. Love that. Chris Georgina's signing into Behance and talking to us there now. Thanks for flipping over to the good side. Love it. Frank says, Ice Storm here. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope that everything is well at your end. Thanks for being here, Frank. Love that. Okay, so this is Adobe Express, right? I don't know if you've ever used it. Let me know in the chat or in the comments, replay folks, if you have ever used Adobe Express. So this is the landing page for Adobe Express, and you can go in here, certainly create a quick custom size graphic, or you can do some of these quick actions, which are something that you might have seen or may not have seen in the past. If you have used Adobe applications before, then you know what remove background means. You may have used it in Adobe Photoshop, but what if you do not have a Photoshop subscription? Or even if you do and you're on the fly, you're using it on your iPad, you don't want to use Photoshop, you can click over here to remove background and do a drag and drop, and Adobe Express is going to do it. A quick walkthrough of what kind of features Adobe Express provides, but I'm going to go over to the brands panel right over here. This is the brands panel. Now, this is amazing because I can actually go ahead and create some brands. You see some of the previous brands that I created, Mod Squad, that's pretty cool. Branding Basics, Copy, and my personal brand as well. I'm going to hit create a brand here. Essentially, a brand kit is nothing. A brand kit is essentially putting all your logo lockups, colors, typography, everything in one single place for you to use. Now, this can be very helpful in a collaborative effort. So like I mentioned, the Snax brand is my best friends and I planning to do, but he wants access to the logo lockups on a web browser. Amazing. Let's use Adobe Express to show how you can do that. Segue. Perfect segue. Okay. We have upload your logo right here. So I'm going to click on this button and then I'm going to go to the Snax logo lockups that we have. Don't look at my downloads folder. And then I'm going to go in here. Actually, I'm going to go in here because I have some of these that I made earlier. I'm going to select this guy and create this as the primary logo for now. We can always go ahead and fix that later. It says pick your color. These are the logo colors. I'm going to select that again. And I'm going to choose a font. I'm going to go back to my Illustrator file and see what font I use. I've totally forgotten what font I used. I'm going to getting some sneak peeks in here. But let's see. I'm going to choose like, this was a custom font, but I'm going to go in here and choose like Lato Bold or maybe like a Kaluna Bold. For instance, just because I feel like this has the rounded sans serif feel. If you remember from episode 1, we actually did some really, really fun competitive audits. So I am continuing on that journey and creating this rounded sans serif font. Okay, love that. Wade Acuff says, a few times. I'm no express-pert, but I try. Amazing. Love the puns. Okay, let's go to next. Alrighty. Love that. I don't know what Chris is saying, but I love it. Anyway. I'm going to name my brand here and click on create my brand. So you only need to have 3 things when you start with. Don't worry if you don't have multiple logo lockups, because you can always go back and add those other logo colors, right? So Adobe Express, used the Adobe power to actually generate this brand for me that is usable across my designs, anything that I want in Adobe Express. So here it goes. It says more logos. What does that mean? More logos means that you can add any number of logos, I imagine, and I'm going to hit plus. I'm going to hit plus again. It says add additional logos to use across your project. So I'm going to hit open and add all the colors that I exported from Adobe Illustrator. So we have this here. I'm sure I added this, but I can go ahead and delete those colors as well. And you can see as I'm doing that, it is adding it here in the background. And I'm going to hit plus again and see what I have. So maybe I want this as well. I'm going to hit open again. And then I'm going to add one more. Maybe something like so, right? I'm going to hit OK. Love it. All right, just making sure that everything is good. All right, and then I'm gonna hit plus again. Just checking. Okay, maybe we add one more, like a vertical version as well, just to see how that looks on post, right? These all have backgrounds, so maybe I do like a white. Okay, yeah, this is looking cool. And then I'm gonna hit the X button. Once it loads, I can essentially go over here, and we have these. It seems to me as if we only have 2 variations. We don't. Okay, this might be like a bug. And then I'm gonna go in here and add a color. I'm gonna go to Illustrator and find the color just because I don't remember the hex code. So here are all the colors. I'm gonna go in here, get the hex code, and then I'm gonna paste it in here. Hit save. And then I am gonna go in here and get this color as well. I'm going to copy that. So a simple, easy process. You go to your original colors, get the hex code that defines the color value. And this is not the right color. This is the right color that I wanted. Not quite white. I'm going to go in here and then I'm going to hit plus and then I'm going to hit OK. So we have these colors. Barbara joining us. Hey, Barbara, thank you for being here. I love that you could join us today. I'm just creating a brand on Adobe Express. If you are just joining me, this is Branding Basics episode 3 here on Adobe Live. My name is Anika and I'm your host today. You have free templates in the stream description, so make sure to download them to follow along. We're just going to dive into packaging design in just a second. So we have all the colors here, right? And we have some fonts in here as well that we selected. So logos are done, colors are done, and fonts are done. Now it's time to see how it's going to impact your projects. So it says this is how it's going to look on your projects. You can also create a web page in Adobe Express, which we're going to talk about in one of the future episodes. But this is how it's going to look. This is the page theme, and this is fetching all the colors from your brand. You can see Adobe Express provides a light, medium, and dark version, which is super cool because I can go ahead and edit these. This is the medium version, right? It is taking the fonts that I selected, the colors that I added, and the logos as well, I believe, somewhere here, right? And then I'm going to hit done. And I can change that anytime I want. So I can go ahead, check the dark version as well and see what we have. And that's the black, right? That's really cool because otherwise you would have to go do that from scratch, get a Squarespace or an XYZ subscription that you use, maybe like a Wix website. But I don't need any of that because Adobe Express does that for me anyway. So I am going to go in here. You can also change how the look and feel of your videos look like. And then this is going to show you how the surfaces are going to look like, which are going to be branded. So the outro can look like this. This can be the header and footer. The logo looks like this. There's a stamp as well. But let's go ahead and if you think that you made like a typo in your brand, you can go in here and change that as well. So I'm going to say Snax branding, for instance, click outside and it's going to show you. This loading symbol means that it's actually making all those changes. Myra joining us. Hey Myra, thanks again for joining me here. Welcome back to Adobe Live. I love that you came back. Also, one thing I forgot to mention that if you have not seen any branding basics episodes, you go to the Adobe Live YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Adobe Live Community at Adobe Live Community. You can go to the playlist tab, and right over here, this is Adobe Live Branding Basics playlist. You can see I'm live right here, but you can go in here and watch any replays at your disposal. The videos on demands are available right as I end the stream. So it's right here. You can go ahead. I'm streaming right now, so I can't see it, right? Okay, cool. So we have this, and now I can go ahead and invite people, which essentially means that if my best friends want access to this, I can just say bestfriend@gmail.com, right? And then just send that to him. I'm not going to send it right now because I don't know, maybe that's like a real email address. Or you can go ahead and copy the link. So if you have your co-founder who wants a link to the file, or the template file in Adobe Express, or the logo library, you can click on copy link, and I can go ahead in the browser and paste it. Once you send that to them, they will either have to create a new Adobe ID, log in from their existing ID, and then they will be able to see this. So super cool. That's how you create a brand, and you can access it within Adobe Express and add it to everything. I'm going to take a quick 5 minutes here and show you how you can add it to your templates. So I'm going to say social, for instance, right? And see what comes up. Let's say product promotion, for instance. I'm going to just want to show you how you can use your brand as well. Let's say I use this, right? This is not my branding, but let's see how that makes a difference when I apply my brand to it. So how do you use it? Now that you've made your brand, you don't know how to use it. Let's go ahead and go to our design panel, design button right here, and this says this is the current brand. I can click on the 3 dots, switch brand, and I can switch it to my Snax brand. Once I click on switch brand, it's going to apply, or let me apply, the branding that I created. So let's hit shuffle. It may not look, this just a disclaimer, it may not look the same. Hold on a second. Oh, I thought I heard an alarm go off. Yeah, everything's good. So I'm going to hit shuffle and see what happens. When I hit shuffle, it's going to add my branding to it. Now, you notice that the colors have been applied. This is my brand color. If I click on edit background, it shows me all the brand colors that I added. So maybe I wanted like a pink, or maybe I wanted like this white color, or maybe I wanted like a darker, or the darkest. You can go ahead and change any colors. You can go ahead and click on replace, and that's going to add all the logos that you added in the beginning. So you can go ahead and select this version if you wanted. It's going to replace that. And you can change these styles as well. So you can go ahead and change this. Oh, that's weird. Oh, there we go. I can delete these assets in here. I don't want this. Maybe I can move this around just a little bit. So that's how you apply a brand. And now this is probably not the style that I want for this image, for instance. I can go ahead and move this around anywhere I want. So that is how you can apply your brand to any design that you have, right? You can customize it for all your work. Sorry, I got a little distracted there. Okay, cool. Now let's jump back into Illustrator and see what we have, the dieline template. Let's go back to our dieline template and let's explain what a dieline template is. So we're 27 minutes in, we have about the same amount of time. So I've left like the major chunk of the stream, or let's say the 50% of the chunk of the stream to create packaging. So we have this, and you're looking at this for the first time and you don't know what this is. Well, worry not. We have some things here, which is the layers panel. I'm going to see if I can actually make this bigger. So I'm going to go to panel options and make it large. I'm going to click OK. So as you can see here, let me expand this just a little. It says artwork, trim marks, crease marks, and bleed. Now I don't want these layers in here. So I'm going to bring that to artwork. Give me a second. Do I have anything here? I don't. And I delete these two, right? So your file probably only has these 4 layers, right? And I'm going to hit the eye icon just because that's going to show me all the layers. And we have these layers. So a die line is essentially a layout for you to create product packaging. It can be a standard die line, which is the machine that prints and cuts and puts crease marks on the paper. So if you've ever seen any kind of packaging, I have something here that I'm going to show you at the end of the stream. That is essentially the packaging that you create, right? So you have packaging, and you know that it's like a box which is flat at first, and you fold it, you cut the extra versions that you print for the bleed. And if you've ever printed anything like a business card, for instance, you know what bleed is. So a bleed is essentially the area that is outside the safe working area. So a bleed is essentially extension of your current design. So if you're printing something on an A4 size sheet and the text goes to the edge of the sheet, you would want some of that extra outside as well, so that when you print it, it is still up to the edge. And if you make a mistake, there is room for error. Think of bleed as like the room for error. All right, that was a lot of talking. Hey, Monica, hi, welcome on in. All right, I got really serious over there. I'm sorry, you guys. Got lost in the packaging. All right, so we have bleed, trim, and crease. So now you know what bleed means. And trim is essentially, think of trim as like getting a trim, and that is exactly what it means. You cut the packaging paper or the box or whatever material you're using, and that is what trimming means. So wherever you see trim marks, I'm going to show you here real quick. So this is what trim marks are. These are signified by this blue color here, and this is where you cut your packaging at the end. We talked about bleed, which is signified by the green over here. That's the extra, and that is where your design extends to. And then we have crease marks, which is essentially the creases that you create. So if I hide the trim marks and if I hide the bleed, this is all the places that I need to fold in order to make a box design, right? So that is your 3 definite items that you need when creating a packaging of any kind. So that will have bleed, crease, and trim marks. This may change from the kind of packaging you have. So this template may not look the same for the kind of box you receive at the end. Okay, cool. Now let's go ahead and create artworks. I'm going to go ahead and, okay, meanwhile, that was a lot of information. So if you have any questions for me, make sure to drop them in the chat. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. I just realized there was no music all this while. Thank you. Yeah, music gods are working now. Thank you so much. You've just been listening to me talk all this while. Thanks for being here. I'm glad you're still here. All right, let's grab some of these things from here. Okay, I'm just gonna grab some of these things. So I'm gonna grab this. Actually, let's just let it be for now. So I have some colors. I'm gonna go to the artwork panel here. Okay, so if you are working on this and this is just a sizing issue that you have, this is placed on a letter size, I believe. And I'm gonna actually go and check. What is that? Hold on a second. Document setup. Interesting. I think this is a letter size. Yeah. Stuart, love that. Yes. Stuart says you can set them as spot colors and the printer can use them to create a cutting plate if that helps anyone. Yes, we are working with standard sizes, Stuart, but if someone wants to create a custom size, that is a great tip. So how I do that is go to here and then I'm going to go to my color palette right here, which I find right here. I'm going to hit the plus icon. Let's see. I'm going to hit the plus button right here and then I can go and select my color type in here. So you can go and select it as a spot color and click on OK. So this one right here that you see is a spot color now, and then your printer can create custom die lines with it. And then we have these other colors, so you do that for all the colors that we have. I'm going to go in here, do the same thing, click on the plus button, click on spot color and click OK. So now these two over here that I just created are both spot colors, and this little triangle option that I see here, the one with like a square in the triangle is a spot color. The one with just the triangle is a global color. By global, it means that if you change that from the color palette, it'll change everywhere, right? So let's do that for the third one as well. And then we have here, I'm going to click spot color right here and click OK. Thanks for bringing that up, Stuart. Thanks. Glad you are here. Love that. Okay, I wasn't planning on showing that, but this is why we love chat. This is why we love the Adobe Live community. Thanks again for being here. Chris says, such great presentation techniques. I never noticed the lack of music. Hey, look at that. I love that. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. So what I'm gonna do is to create a background color of the artwork, I'm gonna go to my bleed layer real quick, and I'm gonna press Command C and press Command F, and I can bring that artwork right here, that layer right here. So I have this right here, right? I am gonna go ahead, click the eyedropper by pressing the I key on my keyboard, grab this color, and that is going to grab my color as the background. And I can do the same thing for the other as well. Now you're wondering, why do I have two of these templates? Because maybe I just want to print on the outside. Well, if you don't want anything on the inside, you can just add a color to it. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to select the bleed layer, press Command C, press Command F, which is going to paste in place. I'm going to bring that back to my artwork layer right here. Now, if you're wondering how I brought that back in, this is the red dot, and this indicates the selected art like it says on the help menu, and I'm just going to drag it out here. I'm going to hit the lock icon, zoom out, and then I'm going to select this layer, get the eyedropper, and select the color. That's how you add the background. Love that. Oliver saying hello to Stuart, and Stuart says it's wet and cold here again. Oh no. Yeah, it's the same thing here. It's the weather has a mind of its own, right? So now I have a background color that I want, and maybe I want to create variations of this. So once you have one of the designs made, you can go ahead and select variations. You can select colors that you want. Maybe I want a pink, or maybe I wanted this light color, right? Let's go ahead with this color and see how that looks. The idea for this template is that you can go ahead and create a test process and product packaging out of it, and then fold it yourself and see how that looks. So something to think of when creating packaging design is adding your branding to it. I'm going to start that by creating a logo icon, logo on top. So I have this right here, which is essentially the logo, but it's changed to a different format. You're wondering how and why have I rotated it, right? I'm going to go back to my branding page, and this is how it was. Why did I rotate it? Well, a thing to think about here that you will achieve with practice and also making a lot of packaging designs is that as you fold through, you want to think and imagine it in like a 3D space. And as you fold through your box, this is a flat surface. I'm going to switch over to my full screen view right here. So it's like a flat surface of paper, right? Let's imagine, I'm going to take a sticky note right here. 1 second. So this is the packaging that you printed. So as you fold through and you fold and cut and add crease marks, it's going to fold this way, it's going to fold this way. You want to think and imagine in a way that you want your text to always be upright and legible. So never go below 9 points on your packaging design. That's what I recommend. Even if actually don't go below 10 points for good reason, right? And you also want to fold it and think about how it's going to turn. So as I fold this packaging here, if I fold it upside down like so, the text is supposed to face this way for my example, because the box is opening like this, and it's essentially like a flat lay version of your 3D space. So if you've ever worked with origami before as a kid, or even right now, you know that this is going to change the layout and the orientation of your type or your artwork. So you want to think about how you do that. Maybe you practice and see how that changes in a 3D space. All right, enough of that practical example. Okay, let's go back in. All right, hope that helps. Let me know if that helps anything. So I am gonna go in here and add like a design real quick so that I can go ahead and create a packaging design. So I am gonna go ahead and press copy, or actually I'm gonna drag it over here. It's in the artworks, but I'll bring it to front. And right now this is too big. I'm gonna size that down. I hope this is outlined. Looks like it is. And I'm gonna bring it here. Now, since I have my smart guides turned on, I don't really have to care about it being centered. But what if you did not have any smart guides on? I'm gonna press, you can either turn them on by going to view and turn on smart guides. If it is turned on, you will see the check mark. But if you cannot have that on because that annoys you, you can create a new guide for yourself, which is like the size of the box that you want to align your text or your logo into. Have this and press Command 5 on your keyboard. That is going to create a guide for you, for instance, right? This is a guide, a custom guide that I created. I'm going to hit delete just because I already have that here. Love that. Oliver in the chat says, can we have a practical stream doing the folding and assembly once the design is finished? Well, you're in for a treat, Oliver, because I am going to show you how that works. Actually, I should have had that. I should have had a cutout. That's a great idea, Oliver. Let me know. Remember and remind me to reach out to you for my next stream. No, I do have a cutout that I can use. Maybe I will show you how that looks. Yeah, I will show you. For the last 10 minutes, we'll leave that as an example. Love it. I do have stuff. Okay. So that's our logo added in here, right? Friends on the YouTube chat joining us, I just want to take some time to say hello to them. Star in the chat, Anmol, thank you so much for being here. Love it. So we have this, and now I want to add where the snack box is from, right? So maybe I want to add it here. I have some copy here that I previously made. I'm just going to drag it out here in place and resize it in just a second. We have some of this here as well. I'm going to bring it up top, and then I'm going to bring this up top. Love that. And then I'm going to bring this here. Maybe I want to bring these. Actually, there's some information here as well that I added. I'm going to zoom in just to show you how that looks, right? So I have all these things here, and this is the alignment that I have. Now, this means this is facing me and it is legible right now because as I fold it up, think of it that it is going to fold up on both sides. So it's supposed to be in opposite orientation. And once you do a little bit of experimenting, you will realize that this is how it should align and have the right orientation. I'm going to size that down and not worry about the type size for now. I'm going to bring that in here. See if this is good. I think I want to size this down also just a little bit. And right now I'm just seeing and like not worrying about the type sizes at all. I'm going to size that down just like so and bring that here. Now, this looks good on its own with all the artwork that I have, but I love patterns, and patterns are a great way to add personality and really reiterate your visual language. So what I'm going to do is, since I'm not using any illustrations in this branding, I'm going to go ahead and create a pattern out of my logo. So I have these two variations. Maybe I use like a white and a pink version, right? So I'm going to come back to my box dieline template and create a new layer and call it like assets, for instance. You can go ahead and delete that once you're done with everything, right? So I'm going to bring this, I'm going to lock my artwork layer and bring my assets into my assets layer. I'm going to delete that. And then I want to bring this right over here. So maybe something like so. I love it. Yeah, safety scissors first. Yeah, safety first. So I actually created a video for the packaging design that I'm going to show you later, and that will show you how safety is first always. So I really like the stacked version, but I don't know how to make a pattern out of this, right? So what I'm going to do first is start by, actually, let's just select like a different color here. Maybe make two variations, right? So what I'm going to do is go in here and select a different color. Maybe I do this. And I'm going to keep this as like version 1 and this as like version 2. We have two variations here, and this is going to work as my motif or like something that I make my pattern out of. So we have this guy here, and I just replicated that one more time and I size that down just to like match the scale of my packaging. And I have this here. I'm going to go to object. You can do it multiple ways in Adobe Illustrator, so whatever you prefer. I really like doing the pattern way because that gives me more options to customize. And as soon as I click on pattern, it says a new pattern has been added to your swatches panel. Now, if I zoom in, you see that this blue box right here is what the pattern is like. And I honestly really love this. So I'm going to keep this new pattern 01 and call it Snax and not edit any settings at all. These were the different default settings that were selected. As soon as I hit done, it's right here. Let's select, let's actually go ahead and create a square right here to see how the pattern looks like. It says that it was added to my swatches panel. I don't see it. Where is it? It's right here. It says new pattern 01 Snax. Look at the magic. Ta-da! What? How did that work? Well, love it. Love it. This is the pattern design that we created. We have a brilliant question in chat that I'm just going to address in 1 second. Whoa, I was zoomed in. All right. Myra says, bit of off topic, but how much should I charge for a brand identity project that would include guidelines, a logo kit, and brand strategy? I need to have a rough idea of industry standards. Myra, great question. So we have a lot of streams here for creative professionals on graphic design as well, where we discuss packaging, pricing, brand strategy, brand identity in detail. Just to go over a rough idea and outlook about that is, think about who your client is and think about the kind of value you're providing to your clients. So it's not about whether or not you can do something in a few amount of hours and other people can do in a few extra or less amount of hours. It depends on your experience. Think about and research your local community. With your local community, try to go to events, and finding the industry standards there is super important. For me, I vary my prices based on the geographical location I am in. So when I was in a different country, I was charging much differently than I am right now, based on the standard of living, what kind of value you're providing, how much experience you have doing that, and how much time you're taking to complete the project. If it is a rush job, all of these factors really influence the design. So that is a great question. We have some prompts in the chat as well. Thank you, Wade, for dropping the Discord, and that is a great conversation starter. Let's switch back here and show you the packaging. So I have this, and I want to go in here and create a copy of this. As I go through this, this is like the packaging that I created, right? And I want to go ahead and change the color. So what I can do is double click into it like so. Actually, I don't think I can do that. Okay, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to make the same packaging here. We're running a little bit short of time, so I'm going to go ahead and add this to this box right over here. Maybe I want it on the base. I don't know yet. So I'm going to go ahead to my artwork layer and add like a rectangle shape here. And since I already had that selected, that pattern selected, it is adding that here. Now this is too big for my box, right? Maybe I want it to be maximalism style and want it to be big, but what if I don't? I can go to the effects panel and go to my transform, which is somewhere here. I'm forgetting where that is. Wait. Distort and transform right here. I got it. No, wait, what? I can just scale it down, right? I can just scale it down. How do you do that? Oh my god, I have totally forgotten how this works. Transform right here. Okay, so as you transform your I have literally forgotten how this works, chat. I have forgotten how this works. I haven't done that in a while. Oh my god. Wait, chat, do you know how to scale a pattern? Oh, let's forget that happened. Okay, let's forget that happened. We'll come back to this. This is we are live. Okay, that happens all the time. Love it. Kind of riled up with what happened right now, but okay, and then this is the inside. Let's just ignore that happened. Let's say I want it to be maximalist style, right? And then you can add some stuff here as well. This is one style of illustrations and one size of patterns you can create. Actually, you know what? I can go ahead and edit the pattern as well. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that before I do anything. I'm going to go ahead and click on object, pattern, and edit pattern. And I can go ahead and change the sizing. I've literally forgotten how this pattern thing works. But I can either create a copy or click on done, and that's going to edit my pattern everywhere. And you can see that it did edit it here. You know what? I'm really wondering how I've done this in the past. I've totally forgotten how this works. Okay, right here. So you click on object, transform, and scale. And this is where you can actually scale your pattern. So if I click 50% and click out of it, that is your pattern scaled, right? You can either click transform objects or transform patterns. And I'm going to click on transform patterns, and right here we have the pattern scaled, and I can go ahead and go on 80% as well. It's going to make it bigger. I can blast it up to 150% and click outside it, and there you go. Voila, we figured it out, folks. We figured it out. I figured it out. Click on 20, and that's super tiny, right? So let's go ahead and change our pattern itself. I'm going to go to edit pattern, and then I'm going to resize this to the tile of the size. Click on done, and we have something. Now this is super crowded. I don't want that. So I'm going to go to object again, transform, and click on scale. So I am going to say 80% for instance and see how that looks because my preview is on. All right, I'm not too mad about that, but maybe I want it to be like 120%. Let's leave that as is. It is super crowded, but I don't mind that for now. Okay, maybe it's like a very simple, minimal pattern app at our disposal. Okay, looking at the time, we have about 5 minutes left. So I'm gonna quickly go back to my BRB screen for now and bring a printout that we can show how this pattern design and packaging is gonna look like. Give me 1 second, folks. Hello, hi, welcome back. If you're just watching this, I was creating pattern design and packaging design for my box packaging, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like if I print it on a tabloid style, which is an 11 by 17. I want to do a test print and I wanted to cut and like make a miniature version of it. So I did A4 sizing and tabloid sizing. I'm going to show you the tabloid size right here. So this is, okay, be ready for my printout. So this is how it looks. I'm going to bring it up to the screen right here. Let me know what you think of this. And if I go back and turn it around, it's a double-sided page and it has all the marks as well. Ideally, this would serve as a template and it would not print it. But since I was not working with a printer for my test print, this is how it looks like. So you can go ahead and print variations for yourself as well. So here is another variation that I created for my box in here as well, which is right here. So this was a fun and easy exercise for you to see how you can create product packaging for your brand. I loved this stream. If you want to create product packaging for your own brand, make sure to download the dieline template, customize it. I also showcased how you can create a custom template as well. Thank you, Stuart, for that hot tip right there. And I love that you all could join me today. I want to show you one last thing before we go out and sign out. We have about 4 minutes in. So I'm going to tell you the plan, give a quick recap of what we did. But before that, I want to show you this cute little miniature version of the packaging. This was the A4 size packaging that I created. And I made a mistake here and I'm going to show you how test prints help you. And this is why you should print. So this text is upside down. It's supposed to be like this, but it's actually upside down. And the fact that I did this test print actually helps me do it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the tabloid version now, which looks like this. And this was super cool. And this is a heavier GSM. Again, the same mistake that the text is upside down. But that is why you do a test print, right? And then we have the pattern in here. We have the logo in here. Almost dropped that. Glad there were no Snax in it, but am I glad? We have the box in here, and if I open it up, right? Cool. This is how it was opened up, right? I just broke my box, right? If you want to see how I actually cut this out and how I made the packaging, you can go ahead to my Instagram that I'm going to show you in just a second. I'm going to pop on over to my Instagram and I created an ASMR video of how to create packaging. You can go to my reels right here and this is the product packaging that I created. So essentially, you would want to be careful and cut along the edges of the print. Ideally, the printer does that for you, but since this is a test print and you're doing it yourself, go to a Staples, print it at your home printer, cut the edges out and cut it out. Once you have that, you want to cut out the edges right here as well. That's right over here that I cut. And safety first, do that. And then use something like a bone folder or something that you have to subscribe. I'm sorry, just read the chat and said the wrong words. To make crease marks. Once you've made the crease marks, it is now time to actually fold and make it into a box. I love that. Now the box is coming to life. The only thing is that we need some snacks in our life. So yeah, this is how you can create your own product packaging. Thank you so much for being here with me. I love that you spend your time with me every alternate Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. My name is Anika, and next time on April 19th at 12 p.m. Pacific time, we will be creating some really fun branding collaterals or business collaterals for your brand. So, say letterheads, business cards, flyers, all the fun stuff. Maybe something that goes in the box. Maybe I'll print that as well. Who knows? There are links in the chat to follow me on Instagram and YouTube. If you could do that and subscribe to our Adobe Live YouTube channel, I would highly appreciate that. I will see you next time. If you are watching this on replay, hello and bye, replay folks. I hope you have a great day and stick around for more fun stuff here on Adobe Live. Thanks all for joining and have a good one. Bye for now.